everybody. I'm Josh Olive with Haven Comics. It's Thursday night, which means it's time for Shop Talk. And stick around because we're going to be right back after this message from our sponsor. We're contractually obligated to say that you should shop at Haven Comics at the beginning of every episode now that they are officially our sponsor. So shop at Haven Comics, best comic book store at our address in Madison, guaranteed. Speaking of things that are the best, I'm going to bring on now my co-host, Mr. Alan Breedlove, Mr. Black Tape himself.
Cody. You said the best. I'm showing you the best right there.
That was one heck of a 4-issue limited series, wasn't it?
My God, that was so good. So good. And I mean, literally, to end it the way that it was ended, the pinball machine at the end of it, and all it says is play again with the question mark. Yes, AWA, play again and again. And in fact, AWA, I am officially authorizing a second arc to this story. Get in touch with Promotion now. Let's get this man on the job. We got to get this done.
Are you lobbying for a spot to be an old guy who's telling people your music is too darn loud?
No, actually, I want to be the guy that when Cody goes to step in his yard, he just looks at him and points, and Cody pulls his leg back and just goes, nope, I'm not going to mess with him. And anybody that has read the book would understand that Cody would never do something like that.
No.
I mean, my God, Cody in the 4th issue, I was not expecting any of that.
No, I'm going to need a prequel. I'm going to need a prequel.
We'll talk about that later.
Yes, we will. We'll talk about a lot of comic stuff later, but today we have a special treat for you guys because coming up in I think 8 days, is Con Kasterborous, or affectionately known by the much shorter name Con K. When you see the words, it's not just Conk, it's Con K. And that's a fun con. It's a great local con. It's gone on for a long time, and this is the last year for this show. So this is your last opportunity to get out here to play with this particular community of people and to meet some really cool guests. So we have brought on, I'm pretty sure the K in Con K actually stands for this guy's last name, Matt. How are you, sir?
I'm doing just fine. Thank you very much for having me.
The K in Con K is for you, right? Is that
if only? If only. So it's actually for
We froze up. Am I froze? No.
Nope. I think it's Matt. You froze up on us, Matt. We lost you.
Oh, here. But no,
you
the
were
K
on
is for Kasterborous, which is the oh.
Yeah, you're on a wicked lag. Something's going on there, and then you froze up.
Okay, can you all still hear me?
We can hear you, but it's way delayed.
Well, this is fun. The joys of modern technology. But yeah, the K stands for Kasterborous, which is where the Doctor's home planet of Gallifrey is. It's the constellation. We had many debates amongst the con staff about how to pronounce it, but Kasterborous is the preferred one, and just to a sidestep, and a lot easier to spell, Con K is, I think, become the way to talk about the con.
I think so too. It is a lot easier to spell. Hey, Kaylisa is in the house. How you doing, Kaylisa? Hope all is well. So talking about Concay, give us a little bit of history on the show, because as far as I understand it, Bonnie, who runs the show, was initially doing an anime show, and then she shuttered that and started up Concay. Is that right?
That's the story as I know it. Um, Bonnie started running images here locally with Ellie Collins, who's her daughter, now an author and actress over in the Atlanta area. And they did anime conventions here in the Huntsville area for many, many years. And Ellie decided she wanted to go off and Bonnie was trying to figure out what to do next. Her and Lori Brown, my fellow con chair, longtime friend of Bonnie's. And the story as it goes is that there was a guy who walked into the last of the anime conventions dressed up as David Tennant's 10th Doctor. We do action based on that. And that seems to have been where Kasterborous was born. I didn't get to clear when that happened in 2012. And the way I got involved with it was kind of by happenstance. I answered on the Facebook group where they were putting a viewing room together for the Saturday night, and they were looking for somebody with classic and bring us the DVD so we can show them. And as it happens, I'm a huge Classic Who fan. I came in through Classic Who rather than Modern Who, strangely enough. And I said, well, I'll be happy to loan you the DVDs. Well, they were also looking for somebody to run the room, and my kind of philosophy was, well, if I'm going to be loaning the DVDs, I might as well be sitting there keeping. And I volunteered for that, and that got me on the staff, and the rest is kind of history, as they say. I kind of somehow worked my way on chairs who actually organizes it. But it's been running 2012 to 2018 was the main years for it. And it kind of grew. It started at the Holiday Inn at Research Park, which is where we're here, sort of our last one. And we sort of went around town from there to the Westin at Bridge Street, to the Embassy Suites downtown, back to the Westin, and now to the Holiday Inn. And we've had a lot of fun along the way. We've had 4 of the Classic Who doctors with us: Peter Davison, Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, who's my favorite, Paul McGann, 2/3 of the Paternoster Police, the IDW Titan Doctor Who comic artist. And those are just some of the games, but it's been quite a while, and it's been really interesting to watch it sort of grow and evolve as time's gone on.
So what's coming up this year? What is Concay kind of metamorphosed from a strictly Doctor Who focused convention to a convention that's more of all fandoms, right? At some point there, although it's still mostly Doctor Who, right? But what is it that people can expect this year?
It is still mostly Doctor. So we've got a small litany of guests there. John Barrowman's probably the biggest name people will recognize. Captain Jack Harkness from both Doctor Who and the spinoff series Torchwood, which he fronted for its run. And that him at the convention, and it's the first time I ever here in Alabama doing a con. So that's sort of the big exciting news there. We also have Kelly Yates, who I mentioned earlier, who's been with us, I think, every year but one. Back again. We've had him so often, we've become so familiar with him. We call him Uncle Kelly. So we're very pleased to have him back. John Peel, who's a longtime writer, actually contributed comics to Doctor Who magazine back in the day, but he's also written spin-off novels for Doctor Who, but also things like starting, in San Diego, John Jr. way back in the day. He'll be joining us, and the most recent guest, as we did the Doctor Who TV movie, we're supposed to be joining us. Unfortunately, his filming schedule has precluded that, so we're very pleased to welcome Sandra Gimple to the convention. She's a famous Hollywood stunt lady, as she calls herself, and her work on classic Star Trek. She was one of the Telosians in The Cage, later edited into The Menagerie, and also played the Salt Creature in The Man Trap, which was the first broadcast episode of classic Star Trek. And she's done stunt work and acting for a little bit of anything and everything. Her resume went on. And amongst the things she's done that people will recognize more recently are things like Agent Carter and Lucifer.
Agent Carter was so good. Big important question here from the chat. Peter Lewis is asking, when and where is Con K?
So it's going to be at the Holiday Inn at Research Park here in Huntsville, or down the road in Huntsville, I should say, because I'm sitting here in Madison, of course. And it's going to be next weekend, June 10th and 11th. So we are 9 going on 8 days out from the event. And you do have through tomorrow to go ahead and pre-reg for the con. I highly recommend that you do so. But it's going to be next weekend at, I think it's to it now. It's where Madison Square Mall used to be back in the day.
Yep, now in Mid-City. So do you have any idea what the attendance is looking like? I imagine the ticket sales, the pre-sales sounds like they've gone pretty high up. And I know she's almost sold out, or she has long since sold out of VIP tickets.
Yeah, I think the last I heard, we had one VIP ticket left. It may have sold out at this point. I know that registration had been steady throughout the year, but it has certainly picked up in the last few weeks, as I guess people are for sure that they're going to come to the event. So it's looking like we're going to have a good-sized crowd. But, if push comes to shove, we will have to cap attendance. So I definitely recommend please pre-reg ahead of time so there are no disappointments and tears before bedtime.
Now, where can you get tickets at right now?
So you can get them through our website, Kasterborous.net is where you can. There's a whole thing on there where you can pre-reg, follow the directions on that, and you should be able to get them from there. And
so
we'll
what's
be
some
updating
important information for people to know as far as what you can and cannot bring to the show, what kind of cosplay is allowed, not allowed, what are some of the rules so people can be aware of that?
So it is a family-friendly convention. That's something that Bonnie was very keen on when she started it back in 2012, and it's something that we've kept going ever since. So we welcome multi-fandom cosplay. You don't just have to be a Doctor Who fan. We've had Ghostbusters show up. We from various anime characters and from other science fiction properties. I was actually putting together a slideshow of images from years past in this Captain America and Agent Carter, funnily enough. So, you're welcome to come as that. We just asked that, nothing that's not safe for work. If you wouldn't do it in front of your kids, don't do it at the con. We will be doing back checks, and we will be doing sort of, as Bonnie would probably say, just use your common sense.
That does sound like Bonnie. That's awesome. So what are you personally most excited about for the show this year? I imagine being the last year, it's probably kind of bittersweet.
It is. I mean, it's also, we haven't been able to do one for a couple of years because of, personal events and going on in the lives of some of us as organizers. There was, of course, COVID that happened as well. So in some ways, it's very, very interesting to be back here doing it and doing more time. And it's kind of funny, bittersweet's a good word for it, but I think it's also, I'm getting those pre-con jitters at the moment because I've just realized how close we are. We're going to be doing it. I mean, it's one thing sort of intellectually going out there as I have and posting. We do a tradition every year where we post, it's Christopher Eccleston Days to the Con, etc. And it was in the back of my mind, oh yeah, the con's coming up in a week and a half or whatever. It was another thing to be sitting here earlier working on finalizing the schedules. In terms of stuff that I'm excited about, I'm very excited to meet John Peel, who's a writer I've been following for quite a while now, basically from my earliest days as a Doctor Who fan. And actually realized I've been reading him before that because I have one of his Star Trek The Next Generation novels that my parents bought me, when I was 10 or 11. So I'm looking forward to meeting him and getting to talk to him about writing stuff as well. And on a purely selfish level, I'm looking forward to a panel I'll be doing on Saturday talking about my own writing. I am a published author at this point.
I didn't know that. What have you been writing?
I've been a Doctor Who spinoff author. So I've been writing a bit of anything and everything, but this is an anthology that's been put out by a company called Candy Jar Press, excuse me. They're based out of the UK. And they have the rights to do Unit and the Brigadier from Classic Who. So I recently got to contribute a short story to this anthology, Operation Fallout, which you can get from Candy Jar. And I actually got to write a story in here called Station Keeping. And if you're a regular Concay attendee, you may notice some people getting name checked along the way. So I'm very proud to be able to say that at this year's con.
Oh, that's great. That's cool. That has to be a fun moment for you.
Matthew, before I throw this up on the screen, I want to verify that I'm in the right place. I'm going to say some names, and you just tell me yes or no. Tales from Alternative Earths, Volume 3. Blood, Sweat, and Fears,
yes.
Horror inspired by the 70s. That's a yes. All right. So what I'm going to do is I am going to wait a minute. Let me make sure I got.
Yep, that's a yes.
Cool.
Okay. Put the link out
this
there?
is what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to share my screen right quick, and we're going to show y'all what we found on Amazon.
Oh no! Look at that.
Hey.
You had to grow the beard because you're a writer now. I get it.
Yeah.
So can you tell us, I know we're supposed to be talking about Concay and everything, and I am a Whovian. 10 is the man. He always will be. But can you tell us, since we're kind of just now discovering this too, can you tell us just a little bit about a couple of these and what people could expect if they want to jump on Kindle and order a couple of them?
Sure. A lot of this is anthologies that I have contributed to in terms of short fiction that I've written. So, for example, the Green Book, which is sort of there in the middle, sort of middle bottom screen from where I am at the moment, that's actually an anthology that's put, it's called Rocket City. It's actually was put together by the writers group at the Downtown Library here in Huntsville that I'm a member of. So they've actually got a short story in that. Every year we do a themed anthology based around something. So those are stories based around Huntsville or some mythical place called the Rocket City at any rate. If you scroll up a bit and go to the next row. So that book, the Red and the Black one you see on the left, that is actually a novel that I wrote a few years ago. And they actually got published, actually just had its 2-year anniversary here recently, called it's a Cold War alternate history spy story, the premise of which is that Joe McCarthy, the infamous Joe McCarthy, the Red Witch Hunter of the 1950s, was actually working as a Russian spy all along. I've always wanted to write a spy thriller, and this was sort of one of those random ideas that came to me back a few years ago, and some people were kind enough to tell me it wasn't so crazy of an idea. And I actually did write it, and I found a publisher for it, and it came out just over 2 years ago now.
That's really cool.
Alternate history seems to be the big place where one of the things that's not on my author's page, because Amazon limits you to 10 authors on a listing, and I was author 11 of 12. There's an in there, Alternate Australias, published back in 2020, and I actually won something called the Sidewise Award for Alternate History for the short story I had in that volume, which was a very pleasant surprise to even be nominated for that, let alone win. Because as a friend of mine perhaps unmodestly likes to say of genre, and somebody felt like it was worth giving me an award. But unfortunately, for my author's page, I was author 11 of 12 in that book, and Amazon will only let you list. So I wanted an award for that book. I got cut out of the author's listing for it. So,
There's a question for you from Bill Fisher. He wants to know if you have read the book called Red Zone from the publisher AWA. It's a comic book, 4 issues, spectacular.
I have not, but I feel like I'm probably going to have to now.
Yeah, it that particular book deals in a former Cold War era spy who turns into basically a professor that has to go back to Russia. So that's kind of the premise of that book.
It's essentially,
I am definitely intrigued.
The movie Red, like a retired operative.
Yeah.
Meets John Wick. He goes back to Russia to do a thing, and then all of
that's interesting.
From the Cold War that he did dirty, all want to kill him, and it's like the contract has been greenlit. So all of these old Soviet KGB types are all flooding the city and coming after him. It's awesome.
That certainly sounds like an interesting read.
Y'all try unplugging your headphones and then plugging them back in, because we're getting a wonky feedback.
Okay. How's that?
No, it's almost like somebody's microphone is screeching, is the way Lisa put it.
I can hear.
I can't hear it, so maybe it's me. Can you hear me okay without it?
And yeah.
I'm gonna try this right quick.
Josh, you sound like you're down a hole.
That's I don't have my microphone anymore.
No, you were actually starting to sound like that before you did the microphone. We're having all sorts of technical difficulties. I love it.
The voice modern technology.
Oh yeah.
Better?
Still sounds like you're in a can.
This makes no sense.
Yeah.
Let's just to see what'll happen. All right. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't hear it now.
So when I removed Josh from the screen, the screeching went away.
I have that effect on a lot of people.
Well, I usually squeal when I see you.
That's what happens.
You all right? Did you like that one? Did that one get to you? You like that one, didn't you? Yes, I am.
Just film a short at the store one day when she walks in, sees me, and goes, ah! and runs away.
Okay, so Matthew, who is your favorite Doctor?
He said Sylvester McCoy.
My favorite Doctor is Sylvester McCoy, the 7th Doctor.
Gotcha.
It was the tail end of Classic Who, but for whatever reason, I very much gravitated towards him, so much that he's the Doctor I cosplay. I went out and got the question mark pullover and the question mark umbrella and so forth to be able to do him. And apparently the costume was well enough put together. We here in 2014, I actually popped out of the TARDIS that we had at the time for the convention, ran up on stage as him and impersonated him for just a minute before Coy himself took and got me off the stage.
Okay, that's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. My wife has been watching Classic Who, and I don't remember the guy's name, but I'm not a Who fan at all. It's the one with the really tall, skinny dude with the long face. I think maybe the Scarf.
If it's the Scarf, it's got to be Tom Baker, the 4th Doctor, because, all teeth and curls, as I think the fandom likes to say.
Yeah, that's my wife's favorite Doctor. She likes him.
Yeah, he's a popular one. I mean, if you ask people who their favorite Doctor is, if they don't immediately go to somebody like David, who probably going to be Tom Baker. I mean, he played the role the longest of anybody. He was there for 7 years, playing that part, and that was at a time when the show was going out 24, 26 episodes a year. So he did it for a very, very long time, and I think he just left an impact. I mean, so much so that to this day, I mean, he hasn't played the part since 1981, right? And no other doctor has really worn a scarf. But to this day, when a new doctor gets passed, one of the first questions that gets asked is, "Are they going to wear a scarf?"
Huh.
See, I miss the bow tie. I mean, as much as I love 10, I do miss 11's bow tie.
Yes, bow ties are cool.
You just saying that because Sylvester McCoy had a bow tie.
And we all know what should be known.
No, he actually wore a.
So,
Did you just call him a nerd? No, I said my ears hurt.
Oh, your ears hurt?
Yeah, it's because it's screeching.
Mm-hmm.
Is that happening again?
Yeah, well, it's almost as like your audio is going further and further. Try signing out and signing back in and see if that clears it up.
Yeah, somebody got to tell me if that's continuing. But yes, I will do that. Carry on.
The solution to all modern technical issues: try turning it off and turning it back on again.
Exactly. Or do what I do and just start yelling, screaming, and cussing at it at work until it eventually starts working. Lisa, while we are waiting on Josh.
That's one way to do it.
Yeah. While we're waiting on Josh, will you make a comment for me so I can see what happens for just a quick second? You'll hopefully you'll understand here in a minute.
Okay. So one of the things I do want to mention is that we every year we share part of a charity auction that we do. This year our charity is the MARF, the Madison Animal Rescue Foundation. So we are raising money for that, and we'll have a place where if you want to bring in sort of pet pads, if you want to bring in like a small bag of dog food, cat food, cans, whatever you want to bring in, because one of the things that Marf is really looking for is pet supplies. You can bring those in. We'll have a donations bin where you can bring those in and donate them. And for everybody who comes in and donates those, we will be doing a drawing at the end of the con for a $50 Visa gift card. So, it's a good way to come in, enjoy spending some time with your fellow fans, but also to give money, give money to a good cause as well, and hopefully get something back in return.
You forgot to mention your other favorite thing is going to be the dealer room, right?
Yes. Oh, good. It wouldn't be a convention without a vendor's room. Notice we call it a vendor's room, not a dealer's room, because it's a impression. But, I do sometimes think the other thing would be cheaper.
I probably would. But yes, Haven is going to be there. We're looking forward to it, and we are looking forward to seeing all of you guys there. That's going to be pretty great. I think we are about to pivot over to comics and stuff now. If you want to hang out, Matt, or if you want to jump off, up to you.
Well, I don't follow a lot of current comics, unfortunately. I got out of it a few years back for financial reasons. Hence why I can say from experience that sometimes it's there's truth to that meme that goes around that introduce somebody to comics or fandom, they'll never have money for drugs, and they are not joking.
That's what I've done. Get them addicted to comic books and video games. They'll never have money for drugs and alcohol. And to be honest with you, Matthew, as long as you never tell my wife how much money I actually spend on comic books, you and I can be friends. Be honest.
That's funny. That's funny. All right. Well, thank you, Matt, for coming on and telling folks about Con-K. And we look forward to seeing everybody at Con-K next weekend. Be sure, like you said, pre-registration closes tomorrow. So be sure to pre-register so you don't get cut off if they sell out, because they look like they might sell out this year. John Barrowman is a huge, huge guest. And people are excited to come and meet him. So any last words?
He'll be doing a panel on Saturday, and he'll be doing I did want to mention you were talking about Barrowman. He will be doing a panel on Saturday afternoon, and he will be doing photo ops both days of the convention, both in costume and in, I guess his regular clothes. So there'll be plenty of opportunities to meet him, to get him to sign stuff, and to get pictures made with him. There'll be details about that on our website. So thank y'all for having me. And looking forward to seeing y'all and everybody else at the con.
Awesome. Well, we will see you next weekend. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
All righty. I have got something to.
Are we going to play that game again? We've done that
apparently
before.
I got something to show you that I've never had one before, and I got my hands on it last weekend. And it makes me pretty happy.
Before you do that, Kay, Lisa, do not abuse that power I just gave you.
Abuse.
I can take it away just as easily as I can give.
What did you did?
Oh, she's a blue wrench on YouTube now.
Oh, yeah. This is a Golden Age comic, so this well precedes Larry Hama or any of that stuff, but check this out.
Oh, nice. That is cool.
At that.
So what year would that be? The 10 center. That would be,
I believe this is 1955.
because didn't the 10 centers start in the late 40s and go to mid 50s?
Pretty much, yep. This is 1953.
Oh, nice. Very cool. Is that one of those, you found it, you had to have it to add to your stuff?
I saw it and I said, how much do you want for that? And ended up making a trade for it, so it actually came out pretty good for me. The other thing I was going to show off a little bit here, because this is just awesome, is this book right here. What's the story with Batman 105, you say? That is the second appearance ever of Batwoman.
That is cool. I like that one a lot. That looks to be in really good condition, too.
It's in pretty good shape. I mean, it's definitely got a lot of wear on the spine, but the corners are actually pretty good. The pages are pretty good. Yeah, that's about a $400 book right there.
Yeah, that looks really good. What did you get today, Dustin? What? I mean, I carried on the 9-2 crew tradition. I mean, I've got my Moon Knight number 1 9.2. It's not going anywhere. I didn't bow out. What about you? What did you do to get back in the good graces of the 9-2 crew, even though you're the one that started it?
I bet it's some book that has no business being anything higher than like a 7.5. And he got it up to a 9.2.
Oh, Ghost Rock.
I'm so good.
I'm
so good.
That was a good one, Bug.
Whoa. You did not get a 9.2 on a Marvel Spotlight 5.
That's what I was about to ask.
No. No way. Send that boy a link.
That's
we
what
need
I'm
to get
about
him
to
on here and talk to him.
Oh, let's see. Invite.
No. No, come on. Not on a Marvel Spotlight 5. Come on now.
Is the 11th Doctor the one with Karen Gillian?
Yes.
Man, you're gonna crack a 9.2, and you think you got a shot at getting a 9.8 out of it. You know, I've learned not to bet against you, but holy Lord, that's impressive.
All right, Dustin, check Instagram. We got to see this.
Yeah, I want to see it
in your box. But we're both waiting here, holding our breath now. We got to see that Marvel Spotlight.
It's a Ghost Rider 1, he said, but in a 9.8, that's $25,000. But he's not wrong. Holy smokes!
Wow.
Think of the cojones it takes to bust a 9.2 out of its shell, and then like add heat and mash it, and then hope it comes back higher than that. Holy smokes!
I would be too scared to actually do that. Oh, so he'll have it next week.
Well, we might just have to have you on next week.
Yep.
Gonna have to take a look at that bad boy.
Oh,
Man.
and Dustin, you really need to pick up, if you're not going to read the latest Fantastic Four series, you at least need to pick up, was it issue 7? I covered it a couple of weeks ago. It's got Dr. Doom in it, and it is classic Dr. Doom. It is so good.
That series in general is so good. It has been a phenomenal series.
Fantastic.
I tell you what, let's go ahead and talk some comics. Let's go ahead and break out your store folio. There we go. And then let's look at previews, because we already got the sign-up sheet up at the store, and I want to look at some things that are coming out in the next couple of months. How's that strike you?
I want to talk about something coming out June 14th. We'll get to that here in a second, though.
Yes, we will.
So right off the bat, we do have a video releasing tomorrow. I'll go a little more into spoilers and everything in tomorrow's video. But right off the bat, we have Dawn of DC, Nightwing. Issue 104.
Can I just say how glad I am that they didn't start over with a new number 1?
Yeah.
Just keep the numbers going. Thank you, DC.
So this was definitely, I mean, it's Tom Taylor. There's really not a lot left we can say about how good he is. Nightwing does have his powers that Neuron give him. He's kind of doing a couple of things. I do drop a pretty big spoiler on Titans 1 in the video that's coming out tomorrow. I'll save it tonight.
Dude, Titans 1 was so good.
It was so good. But I don't know who has not read it yet.
The ending of that book.
I know. And like I said, it starts out with a bang. I was not lying.
No, you were not.
But in this issue is a little confusing for somebody that is not reading both. And the reason being is the person that dies in Titans 1 is actually alive in this one. So this truly should have come out before Titans 1. It really should have. But one of the cooler aspects of this is not Dick basically going to Themyscira and helping save the little girl and everything, or him having the powers and flying around. It was the conversation that he had with Superman. It was what Superman does with him, where they basically fly up and they're looking down at the earth, and Superman's kind of just, they're talking about the power and everything. 104, I mean, pretty much anything Tom Taylor writes that involves Nightwing, whether it's Titans, the actual Nightwing book itself, or anything that he might be doing in the future, it's certified gold as far as I'm concerned. I mean, he owns that character. He's just so good with it. We do get the conclusion of the backstory. I call it the secondary story, where Nightwing is teaching Superboy how to be a detective. That was a cool conclusion. I mean, it does end in this issue. I wouldn't mind seeing more stuff like that from Tom Taylor. It was just a neat little story where, Superboy does use a little bit of his power, but he uses it for a reason. He just needs to get some stuff done really fast. But other than that, it was literally Nightwing is just training him how to be observant, how to look at everything, how to be a detective. And I thought that was really cool. Exorcist Never Died, number 2. We've made it to the second level. They are actually battling Lust. Lust is written very well. The dialogue, the things that he says, the Lust is supposed to be a demon that represents one of the 7 deadly sins, lust. Very well written. I do point this out yesterday, and I want to go ahead and point it out again here now. I'm trying to flip to that page right quick. One of the cool things is our exorcists have what they can use is called the God flow. And in the God flow, it's where they can call on various angels to use their power for certain things. There's a reason why they're calling on this one particular issue. I mean, this one particular angel. There is referred to as Hazmet. He's the angel of annihilation, and I'm going to show y'all. So, as we well established, I mean, I read everything. I love learning as much as I possibly can. One of the cool things about Exorcists Never Die is this is closer to what a biblical representation of an angel would look like. When you start getting into theology and you start getting into the Bible, some of them are described as looking somewhat like this or a variation of this. Not everybody's a
runway model with wings. Yeah,
exactly. And I do like that. It seems like Exorcists Never Die have definitely pulled that in. They're using stuff like that, which I think is just a cool touch. I mean, not trying to get all biblical and everything on anybody. I just think that's a cool touch. I like it when they tie in references. I mean, if you're going to make literally a book about demons and everything, you should tie in the angels, and why not, go to the source and tie in the way they were actually described. Next up on their docket is they take on gluttony. Will be issue 3, so that one should be a really good issue. One of the fun
too.
Oh yeah, one of the fun aspects of this issue is we get more backstory on the relationship between our 2 exorcists, and it's lust bringing that out of them. You can tell even though they claim that they're no longer together, there's still a lot of tension there, and that's been really fun.
Chloe was gluttony.
Okay.
I know my stuff.
Yep. Next, Dance Moms. Good Lord. Next up, a fun read. Dungeons and Dragons issue 3.
That's the Saturday morning cartoons.
Yep. They fight a beholder. So anybody that read the Saturday morning cartoons, G.I. Joe, it's the same thing. You literally feel like you're reading an episode of the cartoon.
Yep.
It's been fun. This, and I'm going to go ahead and pull this one up. We can kind of cover both of these at the same time. Darkwing Duck, issue 5.
Darkwing Duck.
I highly recommend these 2 books right here for parents that are looking for comic books for their kids. These would be good books to read as a bedtime story. You don't have to worry about them. They're fun, mindless reads. They are exactly what you want them to be. In this particular issue, Darkwing is going again. Oh crap! What's his name? Rejuvenator. Mm-hmm. Was that his name? Liquidator.
I
can't think of his name. I'll find it. Give me a second. Yes, Liquidator. Darkwing is going against Liquidator in this issue. They've just been fun reads. They're nostalgia reads. They're serving their purpose. They're doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. I've enjoyed both of them so far. Next, King Spawn. Yeah. So we know where the brains are being hidden. And I do mean literal brains. Spawn has rescued Sam. We saw that coming. They're not going to let anything happen to Sam. But Yoko is back, and somehow, some way, Yoko is tied into what I'm calling the brain machine, like the brain internet that they're using, the people that they've been kidnapping and lobotomizing them and then tying their brain into this little network that they've got going on. Even for a Spawn issue, this one was kind of dark. It was pretty fun. It really was. When it comes to King Spawn, think of it like this. For anybody that might be confused, why do we have a Spawn and why do we have a King Spawn? Think of it as Batman and Detective. You've got just 2 different books involving the same character. Yes, it is a shared universe. Yes, it will come across. They should, coincide at some point and kind of back off again. But King Spawn Issue 22, trades should be out. It's been really fun to read. Art's been great. If you're into Spawn, this is definitely a must read. But if you're into Spawn, Gunslinger and King Spawn, I think, are the two best out of the shared universe right now. And we trying to go quick. We got 4 left. Dead Romans, issue number 3. I cannot pronounce one solitary person's name in this flipping book. I just can't do it. I'm sorry.
You can't say Honoria?
Yeah, whatever. What's it? Aramis? Is that his name?
Arminius.
So our boy Arminius is proving that he is no joke when it comes to military strategy.
Oh no, it's incredible.
He's got a plan. The Germans pretty much have the Romans surrounded at any given moment that they want to surround them. This book right here is really good if you're into stuff like military strategy, if you're into like battle plans. I think the Dungeons and even though it's not Dungeons and Dragons, I think the Dungeons and Dragons crowd would really enjoy this because of battle strategy. Mm-hmm. It's been a really good story so far. I've enjoyed every minute of it. They're nowhere. I mean, they're supposed to be doing this in 10 issues, I believe is what they said. Was that the first one is 10 issues?
6.
So 6 issues. I don't see how they're going to pull it.
Hopefully we get the second arc, which would be another 6. So this arc has to sell well enough, and we have to plead our case with Jim Valentino.
Well, I mean, I'm definitely pleading my case now because this has been very, the only word that really comes to mind is methodical, their approach to it. It's been very well done. It's a very smart read. I really can't explain Dead Romans beyond that. Yes, we do have a story. There's a little bit of a love story going on, but is duty and honor going to get in the way of that love story? You know, Arminius, like I said, oh boy, he ain't no joke when it comes to planning this stuff out. He's got it going on. It's definitely worth reading for that alone. And the more you read it, and you know, we did have Kennedy and I'm gonna say his name wrong, Marinkovich on the show, and we did talk about like doing historical references and actually getting into the actual history of it. And you can really tell in this series that they did their research. They truly did their research. And I think that's made it even a little more fun.
I mean, they're nerding out over things like the camp layout, which you only see in a fleeting glimpse from like in one panel, right? What did the Roman camp look like? But it's historically accurate to what a Roman camp looked like at the time period.
But the art has been absolutely gorgeous. I mean, every single bit of it. I mean, and it fits the story, which is really important to me.
Just going to say, Matt Posey, I've heard that is extremely good. I have not seen it. I look forward to it, but I still haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy 3 yet, and that's driving me nuts.
I haven't either. And I do want to see both of those. We still haven't even watched Thor: Love and Thunder, but what everybody says,
well, that's not worth it.
Yeah,
that's not worth it.
Next up, we will go with Vanish, issue 7. Donny Cates and Ron Stegman are a phenomenal team together. Stegman truly captures everything that Donny Cates does and what he writes. They are, I do love that pairing. In issue 7, we do find out that Oliver is, let's just say Oliver's possessed. He's got a voice in his head. This was a really cool twist in this. His wife, Elin, how you want to say her name? She does admit that she no longer loves him, but she doesn't want to see him die, so she's trying to help him. And she's thoroughly prepared to raise their unborn child on her own. And Oliver doesn't even know she's pregnant yet. But she does conjure a spell that brings Dustin back. And I hated that they killed Dustin in it, but, you know, it's kind of, at this point, there's just people dying left and right, to be honest with you. Yep. But she sends Dustin on a mission through hell. There was one cool aspect of it because there was something that she wanted Dustin to ask a particular person that was dead, and the first thing Dustin said was, "He's not here." He didn't even hesitate. And she's like, "What do you mean he's not here? How do you know he's not here?" And he says, "Well, it's kind of weird. You're all connected in a way." So I kind of, he automatically knew that this dude was just not in the afterlife. I thought that was really cool. But somebody else he knew was in the afterlife. He was able to hunt that person down, and they really want to try to help Oliver and try to take care of this, what he's actually possessed with. And I don't want to give that away, but it's kind of in the title. So
he's possessed by a van.
Vanish. So are you reading this?
Yeah. I haven't read that issue. I haven't read that issue yet, but yes, I'm reading that.
Okay, so when you get to this issue, you'll understand. It actually makes the title make a lot more sense. It really does. So when you find out who he's possessed by, but at the end of the issue, pretty much, and I cannot think of his name right now, he lets go of what he's portraying to the world as this superhero, and you see that barbarian with the horns and everything come out, and he's ready to fight Oliver and just flat out go at it because Oliver kills somebody in it. And that leads up to issue 8. Issue 8 should pretty much start out as a full-on onslaught. I mean, it should be no holds barred. Next up on the list, Hunt, Kill, Repeat. Issue number, what were we? 3 by
3.
Mark London and Mad Cave Studios. It's just that good. I don't even know what to say about it anymore. Mark London has literally just sent this one flying over the fence. Artemis is a force to be reckoned with or without her godlike powers. You do find out that she no longer has her godlike powers, and that's not stopping her. She actually goes to the underworld where she basically sees her uncle. And who's her uncle? Her uncle is Hades. She is striking a deal to where basically if Hades gives a certain person back to her and allows her to take him back to the mortal world to help, and it's not her ex, it's somebody else, that she will give Hades her soul once she takes her father down. And she makes the deal, and then she finds out after the fact that her son is still alive. And that's kind of where that trails off at the end. And Artemis is fixing to go from a woman looking for revenge to straight up Mama Bear is going to get her baby boy. That's all there is to it. It's been really good so far. It's been a fun read. I've really enjoyed where Mark London's gone with all this. And I'm hoping, this series unfortunately can have a definitive end. I would like to see it go on for a while, but yes, this is one that definitely can be ended in, say, 6 issues. I can't remember how many he said they were going with it, but it's definitely been a fun read. I definitely recommend picking up this one. This one would even be fairly decent for young adults to read. This one right here hasn't read them yet, but that's in a stack for her to read whenever she wants to. So Hunt, Kill, Repeat, issue 3. Definitely worth it. Last but not least,
Throwback Thursday.
Actually, I forgot my throwback pick of the week.
What?
I did. But it was probably because I'm still completely and totally tore up over Black Tape number 4. This is what I picture. Every time Dan Panosian has literally written an issue of this is what he's doing. He is blasting home runs out of the park with these 4 issues. It's been so good. I was on, I actually got on Twitter and was, Mr. Weslowski, was actually going back and forth with Panosian and AWA on Twitter. And it was because Twitter had basically put out that, AWA had put out on Twitter that I believe June 15th you can pre-order the trade paperback for Black Tape Volume 1.
Yep.
And I was like, hey, this is a really good series. This needs to go a couple of ways. Either a prequel with Cody, for those of you that reading it would understand, a prequel works perfect here.
Yeah, it does.
Or continue the story with nothing but Cody, and he can just kind of do some little flashbacks here and there. And and Panosian jumped all over that. He's like, hey, I'm down with that. So
yeah,
I'm definitely.
I want to know more.
Yes.
If this issue did nothing else other than a phenomenal ending, it made me want to know more, because I'm like, wait a minute. No, you can't just do that. You did that. Okay, now you can't leave it like that. You left it like that. I need more.
Well, what got me in the issue was I'm sitting there and I'm reading it. And I'm like, oh no, not Cody. I kind of like him. And then it's like you flip the page and you're like, what the hell, Cody? Who are you?
What the HE double hockey sticks?
Yeah, whoa, hold up. We need to find out who you. Well, I mean, we all pretty much think we know who he is.
Yes.
But it's kind of why. And then the ritual was completed centuries ago. No.
Yeah, that threw me too.
No. You're not taking me this far and just leaving me with 2 words. Play again. We're not doing this. I want to have Panosian on the show, and then that way, if nothing ever comes of it, if we don't get another arc out of this, he can at least tell us where he planned on going.
Yeah, I think if we bring him on the show and just beg, for the love of all things holy, or in this case unholy, please tell us more, he might do it. I talked to him before. He was willing to come on the show. We just hadn't been able to schedule it yet. Yeah, Mike is all about getting Dan Panosian on the show.
Yeah, and I want to know more about, granted, we kind of know who Cody is, or we have a really good idea of who he is, but I want to know more about this connection to the wolves. Yep. Because that was on some level, that was very symbolic, and you're like, okay, there's more there to that. Well, what is that? So yeah, Cody was wow.
Yeah, that was a revelation there. It was unexpected, and it was an interesting twist. It really was. Yeah, I was blown away by that issue.
I tell you, one of my favorite things about Cody is when and there's a lot of y'all that are not going to read this. I know you're not, because it's horror and you're not into that. And this does get a little graphic, and I'm not trying to make fun of anybody for not being into that stuff. I'm weird. I've accepted it. But so I'm not spoiling anything for anybody, but there is literally one part where Cody is standing there with a broken neck and literally grabs his broken arm, pulls it up, resets it, and goes right back to work. I was like, dude, I've now found my new favorite character.
Yeah,
that was kind of like,
that was intense.
Yeah.
That was intense.
And, and then it does kind of, if we never find out what happens to Cindy from here on out, I'm fine with it.
Because, yeah, I'm with you.
We really and truly, that could have been the end of her story. But at the same time, the way that it ended with Cindy, it could literally go on to maybe her descent into madness. There's more that could be done with her character if they wanted to.
Nobody could blame her for that either.
Yeah. But with the way that it ended, I'm fine with her story being over with. So she
deserves a break.
Yeah, old girl definitely deserves a break.
Especially when you find out that it wasn't random happenstance that she was chosen.
Yeah.
You're like, no, thank you.
Yeah, and then the whole, they could even, with prequels, they could literally follow the other women, the other vials of blood, how that went, all that. There's so many possibilities with that book. And no, This right here, let me just go on and throw it out there right quick. Not recommending this one for the youngins on any level.
No,
definitely not. If the youngins want to read a good comic book that is not childish or anything, go with Nightwing. Nightwing would be a good one. Hunt, Kill, Repeat would be a good one. Black Tape. No, that's ours. Leave that one alone, kids. You can't have that one. That one's all us.
agreed. So let's say we take a look at some previews and what some books that are coming up.
Let's see what we got.
Before we do that, let's talk about Void Rivals. Void Rivals is the new book coming out from Robert Kirkman. Walking Dead, Invincible, all those other titles that you know and love Robert Kirkman from. And Robert Kirkman, it's a new shared universe, so it's not just a standalone title. It shares a universe with other titles. I participated in a retailer roundtable with Robert Kirkman last week, and all I can say is I'm sworn to secrecy. I cannot say what I would like to say, but what I can tell you is if you see this in your box and you're thinking, I didn't sign up for this, why is this in my box? It's because the shared universe that it is part of is a universe that already exists. And it has ties to a couple of other books, and it's going to be spectacular. Also, Robert Kirkman is one of the coolest publishers on the planet. The guy he put out a surprise book, which he started with not soliciting it for us to buy it. He just sent retailers copies and said, here you go, give these to your audience. That was a couple of years ago. He's the one who wanted to make sure that the ending to The Walking Dead wasn't spoiled. So they put previews for upcoming issues in Previews magazine that did not exist and were never going to exist because the book ended. So it caught everyone by surprise. He's a clever rascal. And this new book, whether you think it might be your cup of tea or not, I'm asking you to give it a shot. Give this book a read.
Are they planning on making any type of announcement as to what's all going into this shared universe, or are they just going to kind of
June 14th?
Are they just going to let it unfold? You got to pick it up to find out June 14th.
June 14th is when you will know.
Oh, I like the way he's doing it. I don't agree with it, but I like the way he's doing it.
You know, he's a clever guy, and he knows what he's doing. So I'm all on board with it. You got it, Bill. We will sign you up. But if you want to support a guy who has been a great publisher, good to work with for retailers, has supported the direct market community for comics, not just lip service, but actually supported it, give this book a read. I implore you, check it out. It's going to be good. And if it's not good, if it's not your cup of tea, that's okay. But give it a shot. Help the guy out. He's done a lot for us as comics fans, and it's very little to repay him for that. So Void Rivals #1 coming out in just a couple of weeks. It's going to be excellent.
I mean, honestly, it sounds like a cool premise regardless of the shared universe.
It does. It does. I 100% agree. So, yeah, sign up for it. Read the book. All right, next up, we're going to talk some previews, starting off with the Immortal Thor with this sweet Alex Ross cover. Look at that.
That is nice. I was having to inspect that one.
Also, look who wrote it or who writes it. Al Ewing. We're talking Mr. Immortal Hulk himself. Remember how good Immortal Hulk was? You're going to want to read Immortal Thor. This is the God of Thunder reborn, and it's going to be good. All right. Next up, we have in the tradition of Disney characters being put onto Amazing Spider-Man covers.
I don't know why that just tickles me. I love it. That's great.
Isn't that great? I love that.
It's hang on a second. She's walking back in the room. It's Daisy Duck as Spider Gwen.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. That was her spot.
Spider Gwen. All right, so we got, and this is something I want to point out is really interesting. There are a whole lot of new series being solicited in this month's Marvel previews. Almost all of them are miniseries. 4 issues, 5 issues, 6 issues. Almost all of them. I don't know why. I don't particularly love it, but that's the case. So we have, for example, Uncanny Avengers #1 of 5. This one is the Fall of X calls for the return of the Avengers Unity Squad. So the new lineup is Captain America, Rogue, Deadpool, Quicksilver, Psylocke, and Monet. So that's kind of a weird lineup. And then this in the solicit really is something of interest. And you tell me what you think about this. Plus, and they have this highlighted as a thing of interest. Plus, a bonus page singular written by Jonathan Hickman called Who Are the Gods? The GODS. And that's an acronym of some sort. So there's a bonus 1 page in here written by Jonathan Hickman.
So what are they trying to set up by him?
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what he's going to do in a single page. We already talked about it, the Immortal Thor, but look at this. If you want to just look at the more of the type art that's going to be in it, look at that.
Yeah, that does look good.
And it's Al Ewing, so it's going to be good. If you're a fan of the Venomverse, well, we know how death works in comics, but we have Death of the Venomverse. And that's a pretty sick-looking character.
Who is that?
Don't know. It's written by Cullen Bunn.
You know what? I mean, it should be pretty good written by him.
Monet is one of the X-Men of recent vintage that I don't know much about, so can't really talk about it intelligently. But yes, Monet is an X-Man. In this case, an X-woman. But Death of the Venomverse is 5 issues that all come out. All 5 issues are solicited here. So if you're getting it, it's a weekly deal that you have to get all 5 issues at once. Now, here's some interior art from Death of the Venomverse. And I
wait a minute. Let me see if I understood you. They're releasing all 5 issues at the same time?
In 1 month, yeah. Now, look at the bottom panel here.
Oh, that does look really cool.
Yes, that is a venomized dinosaur.
Yeah, Bill, I figured that's what you were texting about, but I really don't know. Are all these limited runs and these mini series, are these all just, is this some type of summer thing that they're wanting to do, or is it something they're wanting to test out? Because
I don't know. I don't like it.
Well, I do have to admit, I do like the way Mad Cave and AWA does it, to where they'll put out 6 issues, they'll take a couple of months off. They'll put out 6, and I do like that.
That's just don't good for a certain type of storytelling, but when you've got it, you're going to lose readers because they don't feel the need to get issue 98, 99, 100. if it just goes to 5 to 5.
Yeah.
And then there's no, how do you know if, is there any continuity between them?
Yeah.
Is there? I don't know. There's no way to tell. It's poorly, it's not a good decision in my opinion. Now, Marvel Age 1000, written by a whole lot of people, drawn by a whole lot of people. They do this periodically. But some of the writers who are on here include J. Michael Straczynski, Jason Aaron, Mark Waid. Some of the artists include Steve McNiven, Ryan Stegman, Carrie Andrews, Ryan Stegman again for some reason. Steve McNiven, I don't know why they have them in here multiple times. Pepe Larraz is in here. But Marvel Age 1000.
That looks pretty cool. And is that going to be a one shot?
It does. Yeah, it's a one shot. Look at that. With Miles Morales there.
I may have to pick that up. I like that with Jean Grey and Cyclops, the OG on there.
And Beast also right there. But then you got the, like, I'm going to flash up. And then you got like the little kids on their bikes, like old school 80s down there.
Yep. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to pick that up and see what that's going to come in.
Marvel there.
Oh, wow. Human Torch looks really good on that.
Yeah, he does. Silver Surfer does too. Next up, we have Dark X-Men.
She over here. She just whispered, I swear if he's got a mustache.
I didn't look like that.
Dark X-Men, number 1 of 5.
I just don't know how I feel about X-Men anymore. I really don't.
Well, I know how I feel. I feel nostalgic for the 90s when they were good.
Yeah.
Speaking of the X-Men, Children of the Vault. I'm sorry. We have Astonishing Iceman, number 1 of 5.
See, now
written by Steve Orlando.
That last Iceman series that they did was so god awful. I just don't know if I've got it in me for this one.
Children of the Vault, number 1 of 4.
Now that looks kind of cool.
They're already putting out 10 bazillion X books. Why can't they tell these stories in those books?
Exactly.
It just makes no sense to me. There is a Miss Minutes variant cover for Children of the Vault, number 1. Just for anybody who's a Miss Minutes fan.
She's creepy.
So you know. Alpha Flight, number 1 of 5.
Now, I might actually pick that up and check that out because I wouldn't mind see how they're doing Alpha Flight in the modern age.
I'm definitely picking this one up and checking it out because this looks awesome. Also written by Ed Brisson, and I typically like Ed Brisson.
I'm not seeing Sasquatch on there anywhere.
No, you're not.
I don't know how I feel about that.
All right, we're going to talk about something you are going to like, X-Men related. And I can't guarantee that it's going to be good, obviously. But I think the name of this one creator should tell you that it's going to be good. You ready for this? Y'all ready for this? Jean Grey, number 1 of 4, written by Louise Simonson.
I will definitely have to check that out then.
It's Jean Grey, written by Louise Simonson. I am 100% on board for that. 100%. Okay, continuing in there are not enough X-Men books. We have Realm of X, number 1 of 4.
Why are we just beating this X-Men thing to death?
I wish I knew. I mean, this looks like a New Mutants book. Why didn't they just tell this in New Mutants? I don't get it. I will say this is not a number 1. And it apparently is part of this Fall of X event that's taking place. Who cares? But this is Tony Stark, Black King of the Hellfire Club in Invincible Iron Man number 9. And that cover
That is a wicked looking cover.
Oh, imagine Tony Stark as the Black King of the Hellfire Club.
So, from your perspective as a shop owner, are X-Men sales good enough to justify this many titles coming out all of a sudden?
They're not good enough to justify the number of X-Men titles that are out right now without all this.
Wow.
They're not good enough to justify half of the current titles that are putting out. Here's my favorite kind of a thing to order. And me as a retailer, I have no more information than you do about this. Have no idea what this is actually going to be. And yet they feel the need to tell us this new series is classified number 1 of 4. Stay tuned for more information, including the actual title. How am I supposed to order that?
How are you supposed to get people excited for that?
It's like a mystery box of a comic book. Who knows what that is? I mean, literally 0 people outside of Marvel know what that is.
Well, I'm going to say it is Marvel, so I'm sure somebody in editorial thought this was a good idea.
All right, there's a couple of things I want to do here. One, the title of this book, Ghost Rider / Wolverine, Weapons of Vengeance, Alpha, number 1 of 4.
That's a mouthful.
Alpha is what Marvel usually uses for their number 1 of a series when they don't want to actually number the series and it's just a whole bunch of one-shots, but it's actually a series. Why? This is Logan and Johnny Blaze, The Weapons of Vengeance. Okay, the premise actually sounds pretty good. I dig it. But I want to ask you your honest thoughts, and Bug, this includes you. Do not confer. I want both of your honest reactions. This that I'm about to show you is the variant cover. Here's the original. Here's the actual cover, right?
All right, I mean, that's decent.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Yeah. I like it. Here's the variant cover by Frank Miller. And it's clear that they didn't just lift some of his old work.
Isn't that bad? What? So,
what the heck?
He looks like a
I'm going to
Demogorgon.
I think that I've got a way of putting this, and yeah, only a few people will understand what I said. I think that when Frank Miller was doing that particular cover, he was probably hanging out with Willie Nelson that afternoon.
On the toilet.
Yeah.
That is just, and they're going to publish this.
I think he looks like
my 12-year-old niece does, and I'm not joking, better than that. And for fun, you can't really see it. I don't think it'll show up very well here because it's super tiny. But this down here is a variant cover by Mark Teixeira.
Now that looks good. Yeah, that looks good too.
I mean, that was Mark Teixeira, man. He was back in the day all over this kind of stuff.
Yeah, because Ghost Rider's motorcycle in that one was definitely more of the 90s style.
Yeah. But I just, looking at that Frank Miller cover, I'm like, man, I can't even keep a straight face with that. What am I supposed to do? Now, this one is, again, Marvel pulling back and bringing back an old name. And this is Magneto number 1 of 4, written by J.M. DeMatteis, who you would recognize as having just written the Spider-Man book we were both just reading, the limited series.
Yeah, the Lost Hunt.
Yeah. But the premise of this book starts with, in big red letters, Magneto was right.
I never said Magneto was wrong.
This is let's see. There are two sides to every story, and James and Madison Todd Knock weave a tale that will show them how Magneto was right from a certain point of view. So we've had it all these years. We've had the story from Charles Xavier's side of things. Now we're going to get 4 issues of Magneto's side of things.
Speak up. Speak up. The people need to hear stuff like that. The people need to hear.
What did she say?
I personally love Magneto because he's the reason Wanda Maximoff exists. So
that's correct. Although her mother probably played a role too.
Yeah, not much.
All right.
She was there.
Captain America finale #1. Cap's final stand.
Okay, so I have been completely in the dark when it comes to Captain America. How are those books? Are they good? How are they doing?
Look at that messed up, wackadoo looking MODOK.
Well, I mean, it looks better than the MODOK and Quantum Mania.
The Captain America books have been good. That's about right. That's about exactly right. Good eye, Mike. Yes, you are correct. Oh, Lord have mercy. No, the Captain America books have been good. They haven't been stellar, but they've been good. Here we have, again, a competition for longest name of a comic book. Riri Williams, The Invincible Ironheart, #1 of 4, written by Stephanie Williams. Cover looks good.
Yep. But once again, we're in this miniseries thing.
Yep, 4 issues. It's just like one after the other after the other. Now this one, I don't get excited about facsimile editions very much. But this one, I'm pretty happy about, and that is X-Men #1, giant size X-Men #1 rather. Because you just don't see that book very often.
Yeah.
So it's hard one. Spider-Man 300, okay. This one puzzles me. Werewolf by Night 33. Okay, it's the second appearance of Moon Knight, but
okay,
that needs a facsimile edition. This one looks fantastic. This is Marvel Unleashed #1 of 4. It's the Pet Avengers again. So that's going to be a fun book.
Yeah.
It's written by Kyle Starks, who wrote the Rick and Morty comic book forever. And we had him on the show a good while back, probably a year or more ago. But let's see. I think that might be it for the new series, notice series. Let me take a look. Oh, no, there's more of the What If Dark books. And I got to say, these got my attention, right? This is What If Dark Venom #1. And it's what if Ben Grimm became Venom.
That would be kind of cool.
Yeah. This next one is going to get your attention, and it got mine. What if Dark Moon Knight? What if Moon Knight did not survive that initial battle with Bushman in Moon Knight #1 in 1980?
Yeah, I definitely want that.
Oh, holy smokes. That's going to be a good read.
So I was just over here trying to scan. I saw it earlier. Night End something. It's a Moon Knight issue 25. It's something that's coming.
Yes.
What have you heard? What do you know? Am I going to be mad?
Well, there is a cameo first appearance of the Scarlet Scarab.
Yeah.
If you remember her from the show. It's her first appearance. Will be a cameo there, but her actual first appearance is in the Moon Knight limited series, Moon Knight: City of the Dead, which follows right on the heels of that. I don't know about y'all, but this Spider Boy thing that people are all—it's the dumbest thing.
Yeah.
I got nothing but bleh for that. I'm sorry, I don't mean to harsh somebody's vibe. If somebody really likes Spider Boy, go for it. It is not my cup of tea.
I have not heard one person say they like it. But there was something going on social media earlier about this Moon Knight 25, like something major is about to happen.
That wouldn't surprise me in the least.
Yeah, it's like it's going to be the beginning of a major story arc.
That's probably leading into the City of the Dead or limited series.
All right.
Yeah, that would be my guess. Because she shows up in Moon Knight 25, but then her first real full appearance is in City of the Dead #1. So then we have, and this is an interesting take, I guess, and it's written by Peter David, who wrote the original Spider-Man 2099. So that helps. But this is Symbiote Spider-Man 2099, #1 of 5.
I'm about done with all the symbiotes. I got to be honest.
I'm with you, but it's interesting to see that take on Spider-Man 2099.
Yeah.
I'm up for that. Again, I'm with you. Not a big fan of symbiotes. I haven't been ever really. But again, this cover for Venom 24, that's pretty sick.
Yeah, that is. I do like that.
Dr. Doom getting glooped, getting symbiotified.
And you know, after reading that issue 7 of Fantastic Four, I understand after that one issue why we have some Dr. Doom homers. I really do. I got nothing but love for him now. I understand why people have attached to that character because he was phenomenal in Fantastic Four 7.
I have to say, I hate to even see this being solicited.
Yeah.
The end.
Yep, it's coming. But it's
well, he's writing himself out. I mean, so story-wise, it makes sense. I just hate to see it because I've really been enjoying it.
Daredevil right now, and I saw this on another video earlier today, like a short somebody had done, and they were 100% right. The Daredevil that we have right now is the most powerful apex version of Daredevil that we've ever seen.
By far.
So he's got to do something drastic to bring him back down to the street level, basically. I'm probably going to check it out just so I can sit there and say, yeah, Darth Vader's still the best comic book out there for the Star Wars line.
Let me just show you a couple of things of note here. Written by Charles Soule.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just by some rando.
Yeah.
And then Luke Ross is the artist. And Luke Ross is one of my favorite comic book artists in the business today. I don't know if you ever read that book, Samurai, a few years back.
No, I never saw that one.
It was a 4-issue limited series from Dark Horse, and then there was a follow-on 4 issues. Holy smokes, it was fan-freaking-tastic. Essentially, a samurai, his warlord is killed, and all of the people in there are murdered. And his girlfriend, fiance, whatever she is taken and sold into slavery. So it's him tracking her down, trying to find her and rescue her.
Oh, wow.
She gets sold into slavery, transported across the world to Paris. You have a freaking samurai who runs into and fights with the 3 Musketeers, and they don't know.
That would be fun.
They don't know what to make of that. It was phenomenal. I think we have a copy of the second trade still available at the shop. The first one is out of print, unfortunately. Okay, that's it. The whole back of this is trades and such, but that's an awful lot of things Marvel is soliciting, and they're all, every one of them, limited series. So that was just weird.
Yeah.
DC, on the other hand, let's just look at the thickness. Get down with the thickness. Can you see that?
Well, I think just about everything DC should be tied into Night Terror, shouldn't it?
Almost everything, yes. So as you can see, this is kind of their what's going on in Night Terrors, all the books that are affected.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much everything. And it's the second half. They're doing two issues a month. Most of these. Not all, but most of them. So that's all this is forever is Night Terrors, Night Terrors, Night Terrors, Night Terrors. Who cares? I'm so fed up with it. Now we get to something interesting. Written by Tom King. An all-new story of the iconic villain Penguin.
So are we a miniseries ongoing?
It does not say. Normally they're pretty good about saying if it's a miniseries. This does not say. But it says revenge is for the birds. After retiring to Metropolis following his death, Oswald Cobblepot finds himself forced back into the unpredictable and violent Gotham City underworld as a pawn of the United States intelligence community. Gotham's criminal element has been evolving since he was last in the city, with his bastard twin children ruling the Iceberg Lounge. And what of the man framed for his death, Batman? Is the Penguin walking into a death sentence? That's a messed up, weird twist, but I kind of dig it.
Well, now here's my question on it, and we'll never be able to answer it. Since it's Tom King writing it, is this going to be kind of, since you've already mentioned the twins, is this going to be kind of a continuation of the penguin that we saw in Killing Time?
I think so.
If that's the case, yeah, this is going to be a must read. I mean, yeah. Tom King knows how to write those Bat characters. He truly does.
He really does.
So yeah,
I think it's going to be great.
If we're kind of getting a continuation of that version of the Penguin, yeah, maybe I haven't checked that one out there myself.
Action Comics presents Doomsday Special #1, which I think means this is a one-shot. But look at that cover.
It's kind of
pretty incredible.
Yeah.
I dig it. Can you dig it?
It kind of reminds me of, what was that? Is it Maestro?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it reminds me of.
All right. This one, I just don't even know what to make of this. I mean, it's clearly one of their summer books, which is where they just kind of do like a goofy book every year. And I appreciate that DC still does this kind of thing. But this is Gnort's Illustrated Swimsuit Edition #1. He's blow drying all his fur, so he's getting all puffy. I just don't know what to make of that. That's bizarre.
Oh, hey, down in the bottom of that page next to it, that's the cover with Batman and Catwoman.
Yes.
I need that before Justin.
Fair. That's fair. I believe that's it for new stuff out of DC. Yeah, it is. Now we're back to trades. Very, very, very light. They're just essentially seeding this month to Marvel.
So I do got a bone to pick with the audience for just a second over some DC Comics.
Go for it.
I love the fact that y'all are apparently listening to me. I love the fact that you're picking up a couple of the books that I've reviewed but I hate the fact that you're getting issue number 2 before I can get my grubby little hands on it, and it sells out before I get up there. And I'm speaking specifically to everyone that bought Green Arrow issue number 2. It's your fault. That'd be pretty cool. In other words, Josh, I need Green Arrow issue number 2.
Heard.
Yeah.
Check that out.
So is that okay? So that's falling under the DC villains.
Well, this is
That
another
one-
Dynamite book, all the Disney villains. So they've got Maleficent and Scar, and now they got Hades.
So did we ever figure out why Dynamite ended up with all those?
Nope. Makes no sense to me. Let's go. Okay. I'm a little, for anybody who has any pull at Image, I'm going to go ahead and say something to you. Not having a print catalog when you switch over to Lunar is a terrible, terrible, terrible idea. We learned this when DC switched over and they only had a digital catalog. That did not work. People want to look at a print catalog for a print product. Get your stuff together, suck it up, pay the few extra pennies, put together a print catalog every month for the love of all things holy. You made this change to DC or to Lunar from Diamond. This is something that has to be your responsibility as part of making that decision. So just do that for everybody's sake. The Sacrificers, number 1. This looks good.
Tell me more.
Tomorrow is a harmonious paradise thanks to 5 families who make everything perfect for the price of 1 child per household.
Okay.
Now as that bill comes due, a son expected to give everything for a family that never loved him, and an affluent daughter determined to destroy utopia must unite to end one generation's unnaturally protracted reign. I dig it. That sounds cool. And they give us several pages here that looks interesting. So I'm on board. I'm just going to skip through and get to something that's cool. All right. This one is called The Infield Gang Massacre, number 1 of 6.
Okay, that looks interesting.
It's written by the same guy who did That Texas Blood, if you remember that story from a couple years ago.
So, okay, I'm actually pulling them up on League of Comic Geeks at the same time.
Yes. Unless you don't want it, then yes. You'll get your regular, if you're a Batman reader, you'll get the Batman Night Terrors book. I don't know. This is part of it. Doc Malady's Wild West Sideshow, The Evil Eyes of M. Infield. And this just looks like such a great cover. Look at this.
So that might be part of it. We're not for sure, or
old timing. I mean, it's got Infield in the name, so I'm guessing so.
And this is what, 5-issue or 6-issue miniseries?
6.
I think I'm gonna have to check this out. I do like a good Western from now and every once in a while.
Yeah, it's not exactly a Western. It looks like maybe a Western from the early 20s or something.
Well, the thing that I just pulled up on League of Comic Geeks says That Texas Blood duo returns to Ambrose County, Texas, with an all-new miniseries set 150 years in the past.
All right, there you have it. Awesome. I dig that. That Texas Blood, if you remember, it was a really good story. It was pretty intense, but it was really good. I'm just scrolling through here to get to some other new or interesting things that jump out. No One number 6. of 10. Guys, we did something that I thought would be impossible, and we got Nick Ellis to read No One, number 1.
And he actually talked about it on Babylon last week.
He doesn't read new comics. He only reads old comics. That's his new shtick. Let me tell you, No One is phenomenal. What a great book. If you're not reading it, you should be reading it. We are still on Image. Scrolling. Keep those pages scrolling.
So what, issue 6 should be out around August?
These books should be coming out in August. I'm not a Power Rangers guy, but something tells me that this is not right. This is the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 30th anniversary special. I want you to take a look at this Power Rangers costume here.
Yeah, my extent of the Power Rangers was the TV show.
It shouldn't be all those colors, right?
Yeah. It looks more like
all the colors. Well, it does look like a court jester, but still. That's a 30th anniversary special. Can you imagine? The Power Rangers are 30 freaking years old. I am so old.
God, I remember when that started. Oh, I was like 19.
Yep.
And I even remember when it was such a big deal that they were going to do that Power Rangers primetime special.
I remember that.
Yep.
I remember that. There's so much to flip through. Here's an interesting one. Frank Frazetta has got, he's no longer with us, but there's a company that's publishing Frank Frazetta books. Frank Frazetta characters, right? Well, this is a classic Frank Frazetta Ralph Bakshi movie that they did. This is the 40th anniversary. This is Fire and Ice, if you remember this, and it is a prequel series to the movie.
Yep. Yeah, I knew that was coming out because I definitely want to check that out to see how they do it. Was it Dynamite that got it?
Yes.
No offense to Dynamite, but I really wish Opus Comics would have gotten it.
Well, that seems like the right thing to do, right? But they didn't.
Yeah.
But here's what's interesting about this. It's written by Bill Willingham, who wrote Fables when Fables was amazing. And the art is by Leonardo Manco, who was the artist on Old Guard, if you remember that book that got turned into the Netflix show.
Yep.
Really good book. I think this is going to be great. I really do. I'm excited for this. Being that it's Dynamite, there's approximately 487 covers.
Yep.
Which I do not understand, but that's what they do. And there's Red Sonja. There's so many things. Hades #1, we already talked about. That's an interesting villain to tell a story about. I kind of dig it. We'll see what goes on there. We talked about Gargoyles Dark Ages last month. I'm pretty excited for that one. That sounds pretty good. Darkwing Duck coming up on number 8.
I'll be honest, I'm loving that series.
Yeah, it's coming up on number 8. There's also the Darkwing Duck Foul Play collections with foul spelled like the bird.
Yep. And that
so you need your trades.
Yeah, and foul also gets mentioned in that issue 7.
Yep.
So yeah, that's it's just fun seeing that stuff again. It really is.
Isn't it? There should be a Darkwing Duck ride at Hollywood Studios. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're definitely not wrong.
I mean,
Or
how
some
cool
type
would that
of-
be?
Or even, you know, that Little Mermaid stage show at Hollywood Studios.
Yes.
They should do a Darkwing Duck stage show like that. That could be fun.
I'd watch it. I'd watch it. I don't know that we talked about this last month, but if we didn't, shame on us. There is a new ongoing Conan the Barbarian series from Titan. And it actually looks pretty good. It's being written by Jim Zub, who's written a lot of good books for Marvel. So if you're a fan of Conan, it's a good chance to give it a shot.
And that's
a new book that looks good.
That's Titan Comics.
Yes.
So what is your assessment of them?
My assessment of what?
What is your assessment of Titan Comics? What do you think about them?
They're a solid little company. They sometimes get it right. They're just publishing stuff I don't care for. They published Doctor Who forever. They were the publisher for the Doctor Who book for the longest time. I was just never a big Doctor Who fan. So yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to see what they do with it. Not a whole lot coming out.
I might have to pick up that Conan just so I can see too.
Yeah, I'm interested in that. I am interested in that.
Because it's been a while since somebody other than Marvel's published Conan, hasn't it?
Well, no. There's another company because Conan has entered the public domain, I believe.
Oh, gotcha.
And there's another company that's publishing, and they're taking great pride in their like rated R Conan. It's really true to the Conan. You're like, okay.
Yeah.
Now this one is one. It's by I don't know who Masami Kurumada is, but he's written it along with Jerome Alquier and Arnaud Dolian. Don't know who any of those people are, but this book, even though it looks very manga, looks interesting to me. It's called Saint Seiya, Knights of the Zodiac, Time Odyssey, #1 from Ablaze Comics. This is the regular cover. Here's a whole bunch of the other covers.
Okay, hang on. I'm about to look that one up. You said that was
Saint Seiya, Seiya. It looks interesting. They've got a few pages of story afterwards as a preview. It looks interesting.
Saint is in Saint.
Correct.
And then Seiya Seya.
Seiya.
Oh. All right, Knights of the Zodiac. I'm looking at that. Wow, that does look really good.
I told you. And you know that's not my normal cup of tea, but I thought it looked good. I don't know if you have read the Batman White Knight stuff at DC. Kind of that side little world created, that little pocket universe of Batman created by Sean Gordon Murphy.
I took them up to a certain point, and then I kind of fell off. And I want to say it was around when they were doing the like 1 or 2 issues, right around Dr. Freeze and all that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but I think it was like his great grandparents or something like that. It was something weird.
Well, here's something cool. Sean Gordon Murphy has got a new book from Massive Publishing called The Plot Holes, #1 of 5. He's the writer and the artist. It's a squad of fictional warriors who transport themselves into the pages of other books, using their unique skills to save the plots in order to stop them from being destroyed. So it says Cliff is their newest recruit, a comic creator who just realized his world is not real. In fact, it's a complete fiction that literally exists inside a novel. The other members are misfits like him, pulled from unpublished books that couldn't be saved. A manga samurai, a barbarian tiger, a kid from a comic strip who looks kind of like Calvin and Hobbes, and a vampire assassin. Outclassed by the other members, Cliff sets out to prove his worth to the plot holes as they fight to save as many books as possible.
That sounds kind of cool.
That sounds super fun. I'm definitely going to try that out. That just sounds fun.
I want to try that out. I want to jump back on this Saint Seiya right quick.
Yeah.
Okay, so I definitely want to be signed up for that. I think this is something that might actually be up Nick Ellis's alley also.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah, something I want to point out about it that it's saying right here, Saint Seiya Knights of the Zodiac original CG anime is streaming on Netflix now. Toei/Sony Pictures live action movie Saint Seiya the Beginning is coming soon. So,
okay.
Apparently this is something they've been working on for a while. They've been building toward this. So,
I guess so.
And the premise sounds really cool. So I definitely want to check it out.
Yeah, I thought it sounded good too. And again, that's not my cup of tea normally.
Yeah.
But I thought that sounded pretty darn good too. It's so weird having all the IDW and Dark Horse books at the back of the previews catalog now, since they have gone to other distributors. But DC or a Diamond is still a sub-distributor for them. They've pushed all of their books to the back. It's like, okay, we're going to hide them back there. I want to say there was one more I wanted to look at. I just got to find it. So many books coming out. I want to say it was from AWA too.
Oh, we need to know.
Well, I know. That's kind of important. Okay, it's after Avatar. Okay. Here we go. Yes. The Madness, #1 of 6. Written by J. Michael Straczynski.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I saw something about that. Yes.
It is a tale of bloody revenge. Sarah Ross's godlike powers made her the perfect candidate for the world's toughest wet work jobs until her government employer decided she wasn't needed anymore. So to close the books on her, her handlers decided the smart move is to assassinate her along with anyone who happens to be nearby. Now stark raving mad and laser focused on revenge for the murder of her family, Sarah faces an army of superpowered operatives determined to stop her.
Yeah, that's going to be good.
It's AWA, so it's going to be good.
Yep.
Written by J. Michael Straczynski, high chances that that's going to be good. Yeah, I'm on board with that.
And from the looks of it, it's going to be a 6-issue series.
6 issues, correct.
Yeah, I'm on board with that one also. I mean, it's AWA, so naturally I'm on board.
Yeah, they have. Not everything they've done has been my cup of tea, but they haven't written a bad book yet. I mean, not one.
Yeah, I mean, even like you said, even the books that just weren't my cup of tea, they weren't bad books. It just wasn't my thing.
Yep. I think that was the last. There might have been one from Mad Cave. Oh, sorry, Distillery. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Distillery.
Hadn't heard that one.
It's a new publisher. Their whole premise is that any creators who contribute stuff, not only do they get paid for their work, but they also get a cut of the company.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting. The first book coming out is a one-shot by Mirka Andolfo, Brian Azzarello, Becky Cloonan, Francesco Francavilla, Jock, Joelle Jones, Stephanie Phillips, Eduardo Rizzo, Scott Snyder, James Tinian IV, and Ram V, among others. Um, it's a one shot. It's called The Devil's Cut, and we just don't know much about it. The cover is a spaceship flying through the letter D in space. I don't know what to make of it. That doesn't tell me anything about what will be in the book.
Okay, that kind of
I will
reminds me of
say
like the cheap sci-fi stuff we saw in the 70s and 80s.
that list of creators piqued my interest. So I am interested in that at least. And we'll see. God, I want to say there was a Mad Cave book too. I'm trying to get back to it because there's so many books. If you guys don't ever sit down, by the way, and just flip through previews at the shop, you are missing out. You should absolutely do it every month. We have more previews. We have copies on the wall. It looks for. Oh, here we go. This is, I believe, actually a graphic novel. It's called Shadows of Thule, or Thule, I guess is how they actually pronounced it. The guy says, how would you describe this book? And he said, in Roman times, terrifying forces threatened not only the Pictish lands, so we're talking England, Scotland, but the entire rest of the world, and only a handful of people stand in their way. So it's going to have a little bit of a Dead Romans vibe, just strictly from what looks pretty darn good.
Oh, speaking of solicitations that are going on right now, are we close to Radiant Black Volume 4 trade?
Yes.
Will you go ahead and put me down for that?
Yes.
Because
yes,
if none of these
yes.
other fools are going to read it, they're the ones missing out. I'm not missing out on this. This has been way too good.
Agreed. I tell you, we ordered multiple copies of Radiant Black Volumes 1, 2, and 3, and we have sold a ton of them.
Yeah, it's so good. It really is.
I see you got a link up there. Why don't you tell people about that? Maybe even show them.
So the reason why I threw the link up there is actually we're going to show y'all what has been added. I'm kind of digging it.
Can you dig it?
It's a little fun. Actually, I wonder if I can go this route. Let me do this route. Bam. Yes, Bug. Stop. You're going to end up giving it away. Let's share the screen. We'll go up here. Let me get rid of that and get it out of the way.
Look at all that beautiful Haven Comics merchandise.
We got teddy bears. Yes, we do.
Is that a dice bag?
Yes, I actually saw these on there. They've got it listed as a reusable gift bag, and that's actually the reason why I threw this up there, because I know we got a lot of gamers.
Yeah.
Where was the other at? Because I know that I did a couple. Let's do all products. I did add some of the moisture wicking shirts that people have asked for. So they're up there now if y'all want to jump on those. That is not.
So we've got men's cut shirts, women's cut shirts, all
Yeah,
varieties
men's
of shirts.
cut, women's. We've even got some onesies for toddlers. We also now have ankle socks because y'all need ankle socks. That's the other bag I was wanting to talk about. This is more of a Ziploc pouch.
Huh.
So the one that's right here in the center, and they do have, you can kind of change out the colors on this stuff. Just kind of play around with it. So I added the bags for the gamers. They could use them as dice bags. I thought they were kind of cool.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, we do have the aprons, and we've even added pillows.
Look at the scarves for the bandanas for the dogs. A bandana for your dog that says Haven Comics. What is not to love?
Exactly.
Yes, Haven Apparel and Shop Talk Apparel.
Yes, and if you order in, I'll have to look at it to see.
The next couple of days, it's
next
running out
couple
of
of days,
time.
everything is 15% off. So we've got beanies. I mean, you name it. And if there's something that you don't see on here that you wouldn't mind seeing, let me know. I'll see if I can dig it out and put it on there. But
The
let's
little
see what
teddy bears and the little puppies, those are adorable.
Yeah, 4 days left to get 15% off. So I know that I've got mine ordered. Mine are on the way. I know that Josh's stuff is ordered because I did just check it, and yours is on the way. And I've actually got one guy that he's already gotten shirts in, and they absolutely, him and his wife love them. They said they're great. And we do have the old school black and white logo. We're just letting it go through the process now. So we'll have that stuff up if anybody wants that, because I know a couple of people are actually wanting those too. So thank y'all for the ones that are supporting the shop. We appreciate that.
Yeah, people have been asking for the longest time. I need a Haven shirt. I need this. I need that. And your prayers have been answered. Now you can get more things than you ever thought you needed. You can get Haven shirts. You can get. They probably make Haven underwear if we tell them to.
Well, we've got Haven socks. I mean, if you want some Haven ankle socks.
If you want a backpack, they do freaking backpacks with the Haven Comics logo on them. You need a grilling apron for the 4th of July. You're going to be out there grilling and you need a good apron. You can get one with the Haven logo on it. Get this stuff, wear it out and about, come into the shop with it, take pictures of yourself wearing it in cool places, doing cool things, nothing illegal, please. And we'll have to think of a good giveaway for like the most creative thing and maybe put a deadline on it because that always makes it more fun. But very good. Mike says, see you in the shop tomorrow. Awesome. Looking forward to it. But yeah, we have run long. I know. I apologize for that. So we will close it out and let everybody go. But I got to say, Alan, keep up the good work with those shorts because those are a hoot. Really been enjoying those. And we are at what, 421 subscribers now?
423 was the last that I saw.
So we might be eating a Sticky Fingers pizza by the 4th of July.
Yeah, by the 4th of July, we might be eating a Sticky Fingers pizza. No matter what happens, I mean, thanks to everybody that's supporting the channel. I mean, believe it or not, every time y'all click like on those YouTube videos, whether it's the shorts, whether it's the actual full list videos, or whether it's the live feeds, those likes really do help. I mean, it tells YouTube that people like it, so they want to start pushing it out there more. So I'm hoping for 1,000 by Christmas is what I'm hoping for.
That would be spectacular.
Yes, we have 423 subscribers on the YouTubes.
Okay, so real quick, we talked about Con K. That's next weekend, not like tomorrow, but the following Saturday, Sunday. Pre-register for that. Then 2 weeks after that, on the weekend of, I want to say it's the 24th. Let me see, June 24th. Yes, that is Free RPG Day. So similar to Free Comic Book Day, we will have things to give away, but we will also be running RPGs up at the shop. We'll have 3 different games running in 2 different time slots. So we'll have 2 in the morning, or 3 games in the morning, 10 to 2, and then 3 games from 2 to 6. I'm hoping to have a food truck back there and trying to get a few other things like that going. But come out and play some RPGs. You guys played last year, if I recall correctly, and you had a really good time playing Pooh's Honey Heist.
Yeah, we had a blast playing Honey Heist. That was so much fun.
Kaylisa has agreed to run a like D&D for beginners. So if you've never played D&D, and this is really aimed at like the younger set, like 12, 13, 14-year-olds, she's going to run a D&D for beginners game, and that will be awesome because she's a fantastic GM. She's great. So, Bug, have you ever played D&D?
She's shaking her head no. No, you can say.
Well, you will have to play D&D. I guarantee you, if Kaylee's running it, you will have an awesome time because she runs a great game.
What time is she doing that game? Do you know yet?
Have not put it on. Haven't put the schedule together yet. I'm working on that this weekend.
All right, cool.
But we will be posting more about that very shortly. We hope to see a whole lot of you there. And that's it for me this week. You got anything else, Alan, before we sign off and let people go?
No, I mean, once again, thanks for supporting the YouTube channel. Even if you have not ordered anything, at least go check out the merch shop because believe it or not, I actually see the traffic on that. And the more people that go check it out, the more that they'll kind of distribute it out there and throw it out into the wild. And I mean, even though you don't buy anything, just going and checking it out online or clicking a like button or something, or even sharing a link, that does help us out a lot with the channels and stuff. So I really appreciate that. Thanks to everybody that's doing that for us.
Indeed. Thank you, guys. Good night. We'll see you at the shop tomorrow or this weekend. Make sure you get out by the store because it's always awesome up there. You can't go wrong. So we will see you there. And for folks who are watching after the fact, we appreciate you watching too, and we hope to catch up with you soon.
God, you're such a